Hello, and welcome back to Under the Moons. Today, we're taking a look at one of THQ's fantastic Meet the Developer videos, in which they sit down and chat with the devs of Outcast 2, A New Beginning. Enjoyable videos that, again and again, convince me that this game is in the best hands it could be. But, as for sneaky zooming into pixels in an attempt to spoil the game's content as much as possible, these Meet the Dev videos haven't been too full of said content. We've had some fantastic animated concept art, and have been given snippets of Lennie Moore's new soundtrack as it plays in the background. All great stuff, which adds to the excitement built by each new video. But with the last one, there's a few things that may have revealed more than they wanted, and I'm not talking about those cheeky Talon buns. No! In this video, we learn the names of 3 new locations along with the confirmation of something I pondered on in one of my trailer reaction videos. So, without further ado, let's take a look at some new gameplay footage and more. The first clip from episode 3 of Meet the Devs is one of the developers working on the game. Unfortunately, the screen is out of focus just enough to not properly be able to make out any words. Well, I mean, if you want to take a crack at it, be my guest, but I'm more interested in the visuals. Doing some image manipulation and tracking, we can sort of take a closer look at what's going on. Looks like we have some live gameplay running with a HUD and everything. The basic HUD we will be covering later as we get a much better look at it. But there is an additional box here that seems to have a Talon's head in. Could this be some info on who you've got to find? Maybe a visual aid for when a Talon's talking to you over your headset. I mean, there does seem to be some subtitles at the bottom of the screen. Location-wise, we seem to be in maybe a communal area, a place for Talon to sit and eat. It's rather hard to make out, but this does seem to be amongst the trees, but I hold back on saying it's in the canopy location of Ema. This may be in the farmlands, which we don't seem to have a name for yet. Also, I'm noticing large barrels. These look like ones that would contain a type of alcoholic drink. In Outcast, you could get your hands on some bottles of Lappy, a drink known to make Talon sleepy when drunk too much. So, we know a sort of alcoholic drink does already exist in Adelpha, so the concept works. Elsewhere on the screen, we have a Talon with a crazy headpiece and fancy getup. I wonder what role this chap has. Maybe a leader of the area. He's looking a bit too fancy to be a Shamaz, the faith leaders and healers of Adelpha. Other than a small clip of Cutter, there's not too much else we can take from this. Moving on, we have a few clips of what seems to be water simulation. I'm not too clued up with the Unreal Engine, but for some of these clips, it kinda looks like we're looking at waves. The files are called Fish Shoal 1, so the points may have to do with fish population, each one acting as one fish, all bunched together. Exactly like a shoal of fish. Life could be a dream. We then have a shot of where this fish shoal sim is taking place, around a couple of rocks. I wonder if each coloured point refers to a different fish asset. People with Unreal Engine experience, please comment down below. Next up, we get a nice shot of some gun textures, and some cool tech to allow you to easily place decals. The gun itself looks like an automatic weapon. In Outcast, the only automatic weapon was the Uza SH-1, so this gun could be one of that family, or something completely different. In terms of names, the closest thing I could see was a texture called T800 Metal. I think that might be just the name of the texture and nothing else. Speaking of texture names, we have a whole bunch of stuff at the bottom. For the most part, it's just metals and other materials, but there's a few labelled Human, all resembling a lighter tone, and one called Human FE, maybe Human Female. The texture does seem to display a face, with maybe the front of the hairstyle with a front parting. Who could this mysterious lady be? In the original Outcast and the re-release of Outcast, Marion was the only female human, but her skin tone does not match that of the texture. There's another texture called Calf. Maybe relating to a cow animal analogue. Next, we cut to an arrow having been stamped onto the gun, with a selection of many more below. Yet on having a look, there's nothing substantial to call out. Now, how about something juicy? We have a nice clip of a waving, naked Talon after being placed into the world. And we get a nice quick look at the world around him, fully placing him in the region we saw those Twanha riders from the gameplay trailer. We can see some placeholder Talans, along with a bunch of other game engine stuff that's not worth breaking down. I like these placeholders, like something a Talon would carve. The land in front of our modest Talon is littered with fields of all sorts, along with a few huts, and what may be some creatures, most likely Twanhas, in a paddock. It's quite hard to see much more than that with all the game engine stuff in the way, so let's move on, but not to the next clip, no, the surrounding UI of the program, as there are some big reveals here. In the bottom left hand corner, we have some folders full of character assets. From the top, we can see Dolotai Guardians, then Dolotai Shrines. Usually, a shrine is a constructed statue, building or more that is deemed a holy place. This could be what this means, but it's interesting that it's in a Talon folder full of character models, so maybe a shrine is a type of Dolotai role. Next, we have female villagers, 1 to 3. That's very interesting. Does this mean we'll be seeing female Talans outside of Khazar? Or is Khazar possibly seen as a village? And following on from this, we see a folder named Kid. Is this the proof that Child Talon will be appearing in the game? Maybe. Or maybe Kid is the name of something completely different. We then have some familiar location names. Disan, the desert region. Ima, the large canopy. Khazar, the place where all the female and child Talon are said to live. And Procreana, the place of the destroyed library of a possible ancient's creation. But there's a few more that we haven't heard of. Bidda, Palana, and Sapa. I feel very silly saying those names. Well, this is very interesting. I wonder what locations fit the name. And well, I may be able to tick one off right here. The location we see now, the farming area, may be Bidda. Bidar? They might say Bidar. Over here we see the tag Village Bidar Talon, and once again below, Bidar appears. So, that's another location we can finally give a name to. Quickly going back to the file names, we have one more interesting folder. Ghost Materials. I wonder if this is as literal as it sounds. We know the essence of a dead Talon can visit its loved ones before it departs, so could we be possibly diving into this concept a little more? We then get a clip of a second naked Talon fisting a hard one. A hard wooden surface. And now we come to the new gameplay clips of Cutter walking around Bidar. And as promised, let's take a look at the HUD. And please do remember, this is alpha footage, so anything you see here could change, and that's perfectly fine. So, top left, we've got the health bar, a shield, possibly the energy shield, and energy bar. A return to the short sprints Cutter could perform in Outcast Second Contact. We then have an objective text box. Seems like Cutter needs to go talk to Hiron, the chief of this area. Top right, we get a mini-map, a rather interesting place to have it, as it's usually found in the bottom right-hand corner. We can see Cutter's marker, along with another marker, which may be a waypoint. Bottom left, we may see a quick inventory, 19 health potions, Elwi, the water essence. And then what looks like a minimap icon. Maybe we can turn it on and off. Or maybe it's a button to scan a new location, just like Outcast. Now, let's have a look at this area, as I see meats, pots, and a wheelbarrow. Quite the market. There's also a Talon on a bench down there. And this guy seems to have been startled. Also, that leg looks like a Twanha leg. Oh no. As Cutter walks into the light, we see some raised crops and a wall to the left. Using the footage from before and its long vistas, I couldn't place this area, so I really feel like the farming lands of Bidar will be nice and big. And onto our last shot. Cutter walks to what looks like the outskirts of Bidar with a rather ominous looking red beam in the distance. There's not much we can see of it here, so we'll move on. Otherwise I'll just start speculating a bunch. It's a mining operation. Someone's installed a satellite. The essence of a maybe it's just a big hole someone put in the ground. At the start of the clip, we can see an orb above a very differently dressed Talon. My guess is this is Hiron, with the orb being a waypoint helping us to find him. What's your thoughts on this? I always loved having to ask the other Talon who was who to then be pointed in the right direction. In Second Contact, they did update this to have markers and info over Talon, so it wouldn't take so long to find a specific resident. But I really did like the original method, as you were on an alien world not knowing who was who, or what was what. But yeah, Heron, sporting a very nice fur coat. Beyond these observations, we just have these beautiful, lush-looking locations, which I really, really can't wait to explore. Appeal, you guys are all so talented. The world and its inhabitants look incredible. And that is the end of the video. But I have one lingering question. What location is Palana and Sapa? Looking at my constantly updating map, we have 3 possible candidates. But I think what I once thought was Ganzar could just be encapsulated into Procreana, so maybe it's between these 2 coastal towns. So, what do you think? Which one is Palana and which one is Sapa? Let me know in the comments below. Also, did you see anything I missed? Again, just let me know. And if you want to see if I did miss anything, go check out the Outcast 2 Discord. There's a lot of clever chaps in there with razor sharp eyes and Outcast knowledge too. I try and keep my discoveries to what I find, but they may have found more over there. So, go say hi. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you've been enjoying these Meet the Developer videos much as I have. Also, don't forget to subscribe and watch Planet Adelpha's videos for more behind the scenes stuff on Outcast 2, along with a great interview with series composer Lennie Moore. So, until the next Outcast 2 drop, I will see you next time under the moons. See you later.